Grammarly is your personal...
Welcome back. It is DDP's birthday, and for the third consecutive effort, we are live. Actually, you know what? Those other streams never happened. They never happened. I repeat, they never happened. There were no technical errors. There were no issues, be it a microphone not turned on, be it alcohol shown to stream that children could be watching. None of that ever happened. None of it ever happened to YouTube, and I resent being accused of such things because we have none at all. So, first in the house, who do we have? Do we have anybody? Is anybody out there? Can't catch them. Costa, I think I owe you a shirt, right? Where are you at? I'm really trying to figure out just what YouTube is doing because none of my stuff is showing. Like, I don't even see it on my channel. Did I legitimately get thrown into the YouTube bad place?
Sure. So what?
I think I legitimately got thrown into the YouTube bad place. It's cold here. Don't do this to me on my birthday, YouTube. I promise not to be bad. No. Let me see. Live chat active. All right. Well, dare I say we run it a fourth time? Do you get it now, YouTube? Are you with the program? Are you? Because I don't know if you are. And this is getting a little ridiculous. Fourth time's the charm.
Be a
Time is the damn charm. We are live. There were, actually, you know what? No fourth time. There were no other attempts. This is the first attempt right now. Anything that happened earlier didn't actually happen earlier. There was no show earlier with failed audio or spotty connection or DDP pouring a drink. DDP was already working on a drink. So we're back. We're running it back for the first time because that other show never happened. And we're now live. So, first in the house, Galeh, Cowboys X Factor, what's good? Hey there, DDP, happy birthday. Appreciate you. Skylar, what's up? Happy birthday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, we are going to talk some Mavericks and all that here. I referenced this earlier. The office is a little bit of a mess right now. I'm trying to improve and fix things. I want my video production to be better. It's better. You'll see. It's not set to it yet, but you'll see. Video production to be better. The quality of the camera is going to be better. I want better depth, contrast, and lighting to my videos. I'm going to throw some damn blackout curtains on this window so I don't get half my face washed out. I'm white enough as is. I don't need my face washed out by, a cloudy day or something like that. So we're going to make some adjustments. That stupid ass bookshelf is not going to be there forever. It's only there right now because as I was trying to rearrange stuff in the office and largely failing, I put it there, realized I hate it there, and the thing weighs like 100 pounds, so I'm not messing with it again right this second, but it'll be moved. What up, Brown41? What up, DDP? Do you have a podcast? Yeah. Feeling Dangerous with DDP is the original content podcast. I also have Dallas Prospect Live, which is basically taking the Dallas Prospect Live shows that I do, such as Monday's show and kind of Sunday's show, taking the audio from those complete streams and throwing them out on that podcast as well, so they're consumable in that format. Although on the channel, I also then take the individual segments and put them up that way on the channel. So if you're looking for like an original content podcast from me, that is Feeling Dangerous. I have a lot of plans for that and a lot of guests that I've been talking with, recruiting, however you want to say it, that I'm going to have on as well. But that one has not kind of relaunched yet. But Feeling Dangerous with DDP and Dallas Prospect Live are the ones to check out. Happy birthday. Love from Sri Lanka. What is up? Appreciate you. So, we're going to talk some Mavericks here. If you guys have random other questions for me and all that, I'm all ears. It's been a whirlwind of a day, but I'm ready to wind it down just a little bit. I got a little bit of time before I got to go get my daughter, so we are good for the moment here. Now, as I was talking Mavericks news earlier, let me flip back to some of the notes I had. There's a couple things to note. The Mavericks are scheduled to play tonight. The reason that we had the postponement was that on Monday, 2 more Maverick role players tested positive. And even though the Mavericks still had 8 players, which is the minimum you need to play an NBA game, they did not have time to conduct contact tracing. And so that's why the Monday game against the Pelicans got postponed. And that game should be played again at some other time. The league is dealing with other instances like that, wherein like the Suns, I think, had a game get postponed. There's a lot going on in that way. Now, this is from Woj on Twitter. He says that the NBA and NBA Players Association is working through a minimum 2-week window of protocol tightening that includes no hugging or interaction of rival players on court pre or post game, and reducing social interactions during games, including tapping hands during free throws. That is such a Band-Aid solution. And it's kind of silly to have this notion of like, well, as long as you're on the court and you're not doing other stuff. Yes, I'm going to make the same joke if you saw it earlier. If you're on the court and, boxing out or rebounding, sweating on each other, coughing straight into someone's open mouth, that's fine. Just don't slap hands, don't fist bump, don't do any of that stuff pregame, postgame. Don't do that, and we're all good. We're all good. It's a little silly. I don't think this is going to have any impact. I think this is just kind of a notion of like, ooh, we have a problem. Well, hey, here's how we say that we're taking steps. I don't know. There might be more to it, but what's being talked about earlier definitely does not sound like it's going to solve a damn thing. I want the first game back, a player to sneeze directly on the ball and then just pass it to the other team. Just turn the ball over willingly. Sorry, Dirk. Turn the ball over willingly, pass it to the other guy. I don't actually want that. I'm just saying like that undoes any of the little Band-Aid solution things that they're talking about here. For sure. So we'll see what comes of that. The point is they're going to try and do some little things to address this because, you have teams like the Mavericks now who are kind of in shambles. We already knew about Dorian Finney-Smith, Jalen Brunson, Josh Richardson. We knew then about Maxi Kleber, but we also have Dwight Powell now out for Dallas. And so you're about to see a lot of these young pups, a lot of these guys down the bench and see what we have because you're going to see more Josh Green. You're going to see more Hinton. You'll see more, certainly Willie Cauley-Stein. You've seen more of him anyway as he's been injected into the starting lineup a couple games now. But you're going to see more of these mix and match lineups. The good news, just as we were talking about Monday, this next game will be the season debut of Kristaps Porzingis. The unicorn is back and ready. to play ball for the Mavericks. And that is primo timing because Dallas desperately needs to get something going. So big salute there. We are confirmed. He is listed as probable currently, but he's going to play. Now, this is always a discussion with KP regarding like his health and, can you count on that? Is that an issue? Well, Mark Cuban was on 1310 The Ticket yesterday with Bob and Corby of the Hardline. That's the afternoon drive show. And he said, let me see here. He basically took a little bit of a zinger, as Brad Townsend called it on Twitter, at himself when basically talked about whether or not him being injury prone made him a risky investment. He said, that's exactly what I thought about Steve Nash and how did that work out for me. True story. You let Steve Nash go because he was 30 years old and you said, hey, he's got a bad back. He's got to lay on the sideline. He can't even sit on the bench when he's not in the game. Why would I invest big money in that? $63 million, I think, at the time, for a total contract, mind you. It was like a 4-year, $63 million contract. And he didn't even have to go that far. Nash just wanted him to make a competitive offer. And he was like, how about 4 for 15 or 17? I don't remember the exact figure, but it was something really low, like a third of what Phoenix offered. And so Nash left and proceeded to rack up back-to-back MVP years and have the best years of his career to the point where outside of Dallas, when people think of him for sure in his career, it's in a Suns jersey, and that should never happen. He had multiple All-Star games here. The fact that him and Dirk were broken up when they were, yeah, you could say he reached greater heights and Dirk reached greater heights separately, but we'll never know. Could they have won a championship earlier than 2011 in Dallas? We'll never know. Salute to Eric Anthony in the chat, our new member on YouTube. Thank you as well. We also added a new patron recently. Greatly appreciated to everyone supporting the show. And you can do so by liking the video, commenting, subscribing, supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/TheDallasProspect, or becoming a member here on YouTube. Also in the description, it might be there now. It should be there now. But if it's not, I will add it soon. A link directly to becoming a member on YouTube. Oh, and you can just hit the super chat. And let me see here. Let me check. Before I make this claim. Nope, I don't have that thing set up. Let me see here. Existing. Nope. All right, it's going to take more back-end work. I got to set back up where if you have a super chat, it reads your comments. This voice will read your comment out loud on the stream and throw it up here over the Feeling Dangerous logo. I had it. I don't know where it went, and I can't just flip a button to turn it back on. So do you flip a button or do you press a button? You flip a switch. Get it together, DDP. It's your birthday. You're enjoying your 4th, 5th, 6th scotch. I don't even know anymore. But you got it going, and we're going to run this show all the same. This is not DDP the journalist. I was told you guys enjoy the mix-up of DDP with a drink. You'll get it. But it's going to have to be a little bit more intermittent. Fatherhood has kind of forced that upon me. But hey, it's a pandemic. I got nowhere to go at this point. And even when I'm going to pick up my daughter later, it's as a passenger in the car. So hey, green light. For like, I don't know, another 45 minutes before I got to start drinking water because I don't want to be drunk around my daughter. That just feels weird and gross. Anywho, I'm way off in the wilderness here. Let me see here in the comments. Trevor Foster, happy birthday. Appreciate you. Cuban always seems to be outsmarted when it comes to cap rules. Yeah, Mark Cuban famously talked about, like, have you read the CBA? Have you read the collective bargaining agreement post-championship when explaining why he broke up his team and why other teams are going to have huge issues on their hands when it came to the cap because of that? And then teams continued to spend and continued to build super teams and continued to win championships, all at his expense while his team failed to do much of anything. Awesome. Yeah, I agree. Cuban's not the best when it comes to managing a cap situation. And even they're turning it around, took some freaking amazing luck and draft attention to detail with like Luka and all that. The beard game is strong. Costa, have I sent you a shirt before? We were having this discussion earlier on the stream that totally didn't happen because this is definitely the first stream of the day. and there were no technical difficulties at all that ended the first stream prematurely. But where have you gotten a shirt before? I've sent a shirt to Slovenia, and I swear I was talking to someone the other day that said they were from Luca's hometown. So that's either a tremendous coincidence or I don't know, same town maybe. Where do you think the winning stream will end? Where do I think the winning streak will end? I don't know, man. That's a depressing segue. Make me immediately think about the team losing. I'm like sitting here riding high. Let me see. Well, we got the Hornets tonight. And then after that, by the way, we owe the Hornets. They beat the tar out of us the last time we played. That was a brutal game. Then we'll have the Bucks at Bucks. That's probably it. Honestly, January 15th. That's probably it. Bradley Beal would make us elite. Bradley Beal would make us elite. Bradley Beal is also probably not available for what we want to pay. That's just kind of the situation. If you're getting Beal, you're going to have to send back KP. That's a difficult thing to do anyway. But is it a possibility in terms of return that they would consider? I think so. I think they would consider it. But I just don't see that happening. I don't know where Beal ends up or when he ends up there. But I think he'll go for a king's ransom. No pun intended. I know he's on the Wizards. It's not like I said that was the pun. People, I see you in the comments. Not the live chat. You guys are great. I'm talking about the people that drive by and snipe at you a little bit a day or two later after the stream's been up. Like, Bradley Beal plays for the Wizards. Not the Kings. Not Sacramento. This is true. This is all very true. But, I don't know. What was I saying? I was talking, Beal trade. Right. I don't think Beal's going to end up in Dallas. Wherever he goes, it'll be quite a price, though. Oh, Cowboys question. What's good? Thoughts on the hiring of Dan Quinn and Joe Witt to the Cowboys? I like it, honestly. Like, I did not like the previous hires that they had done. I think McCarthy is okay. I don't think he's great. I thought that was a misguided pick from the start. And obviously with their defensive coordinator pick, the history told you that was a bad choice. And they went ahead with it. And for a while, it was historically the worst defense in NFL history. It ended up improving to the point where it was just the worst defense, just the worst defense in franchise history. But yeah, man, they improved with the choice they made at defensive coordinator now with Quinn. And I like the secondary coach as well, from what little, admittedly, I know of him personally. But yeah, I don't know. They've got some stuff that they've got to do. They've got to figure out some holes to fill on that team, because they've got some major ones. And it's not just saying, hey, can we keep banking on Tyron Smith's health at left tackle? Can we bank on Jalen Smith? He did. I'm not high on Jalen Smith at all at this point. They've got major issues they got to address, and the coordinating staff and all that can help, but that's not going to be enough. I want Levine so damn bad on this team. Levine would be exciting. He's an explosive player. He's still like 25 or 26. He's very young. He's also not much of a defender, although if you are somehow getting him while keeping Dorian Finney-Smith and or Richardson, now you got my attention, but I doubt you keep both. Must be depressing to be stuck in a hotel room in Denver all by yourself. Probably, although they can interact with each other if they all are positive. It's not like they can give it to each other, so they still got each other. Which on the ticket the other day as well, Cuban talking about that actually said that's part of why. It's actually the team's closeness and brotherhood that made it a problem for them as far as this little mini outbreak, this little cluster event. Just the fact that the team is so close. So we heard obviously all throughout the bubble last year that they were among teams in their connection off the court and stuff. they were always in great numbers together, that locker room. And how even like Josh Richardson talking about, his time in the bubble and seeing them from afar with the 76ers, how even he kind of took note of like, man, I always see like the entire Mavericks team together. Well, unfortunately, that rolled over here. And so somebody got it, and it spread to several teammates. Thus, here we are. Did you talk Harden trade rumors? I have not talked Harden trade rumors. Sounds like Philadelphia is ready to give up heavy capital. Is it Philadelphia? Did I take 1.2 seconds to talk out of my ass? It was either Philadelphia or Brooklyn, and I feel like it was Philadelphia, ready to immediately pay a hefty ransom with like 4 first-rounders and 3 pick swaps or something. Shams was talking about it earlier. Not seeing it at a quick glance here. But, yeah, that's interesting. Harden's burning that bridge. He's like, oh, okay. So you guys aren't really aware that I'm trying to force my way out of here, huh? That's fine. I'll just set fire to the bridge myself. And so he's basically saying, I've given everything to this city. I think I deserve better than this, and we're going to basically go in and, it's not salvageable is what he's saying. And it looks like I was right, that it was the 76ers. Yep. So if you're talking 7 picks involved in a Harden deal, then yeah. I think he's done in Houston. I think he's ready to be out. I think the Rockets are going to collapse, which, sucks for guys like John Wall and Cousins who, they came here and he's basically insulting them directly, saying, we've downgraded in areas. And, he didn't like the head coaching hire, which was a guy from the Mavericks staff, Silas. That's a shame. Silas deserves better than that. He's been around the NBA for a long time and is way more respected than that. Doesn't surprise me that Harden wouldn't care about that, though. I dream of very good role players, not a third star. I've hated super teams almost my whole life, says Aram. And, hey, good news there. I think the Mavericks are going to have to be more realistic in the summer, even though they'll have the slot space for a max salary, or rather can easily create it. They can do that, but I think with the Greek Freak coming off the board, I think they're going to be a little more practical in that regard, and you're going to see them make several improvements, solid role players, very good role players, underrated signings, things of that nature. Levine does have a good contract as well. Thank you, DDP, for the input. I agree with a lot of what you said. Appreciate it. Hey, could you ask the players in one of the press conferences if they're taking care of their buddies in isolation? I could certainly try, sure. And I can also ask around with some of the other media personnel there who may have already asked that question, so I don't look like an asshole jumping on for the first time with a question. And I'm not saying that to be derogatory of your question. It's an excellent question. I'm saying if that question got asked in the previous press conference, I don't want to repeat it unknowingly. That's all I meant. Your question is good. Random question. What's up with Irving? Greetings from Netherlands. All right, so this is just NBA chat now. Like, broader than the Mavericks. That's cool. We can roll with that. Man, he's off the map. We know of how he talked about coming into the season, how he thinks the media is like pawns or something, and he doesn't deal with pawns. He doesn't deal with that. He's an out there cat, right? It's not just his wholehearted belief in flat earth stuff or anything like that. He kind of has a little bit of that Kanye mindset to him where he thinks he's like a genius, where he thinks he's like smarter and just knows more than anybody else pretty much. And I think he gets bothered at the same time, kind of like a Kevin Durant would, bothered by the criticisms and people kind of making fun of him for some of these beliefs and things like that. And he thinks the media kind of misconstrues his words at times, even though a lot of times they're just direct quoting him. And as a result of that, coming into the year, he was already like immediately distancing from himself, not making himself available to the media. Now he is doing that, or had been doing that, but now he's withdrawn again, and now he's off the grid where he's not even talking to or giving like his coach Steve Nash or the general manager or anybody there a heads up of anything. He just kind of dropped off the grid. Like literally that is the quote they used, is like to describe the situation is off the grid. That's the phrase. And so that's a major issue. You're talking about supposed to be one of the two major cornerstones of your franchise, and I don't know if it's frustration as well with their rough start with Brooklyn, even though KD and him have both looked quite good. But it's absolutely skewed things, I think, where now, I don't know, man. I don't know if he should necessarily retire. It would not surprise me if he's one of those guys that retires way younger than you think he would. But there's something there with mental health or perception of things that it seems off. So what'll happen with it? I don't know. I imagine he eventually comes back in some capacity after some time. But I don't know when, and I don't know for how long. Here in Slovenia, a lot of people know you because we don't have any journalists covering the Mavericks the same way you do. So there's much love and appreciation from them. Appreciate ya. Welcome to the Prospect Army. What is up, Kent? Do we have a new member, Kent Ketchum? I think it is telling me we do. Welcome to our newest member. Appreciate you very much. Let's see here. Let's see. Kent, do you have a shirt? Do you have a Dallas Prospect shirt yet? If not, you're getting one. All right, let me jump back in here, try and find where I was. Salute for the love from Slovenia, by the way. I'm trying to literally find where I was in the thread so that I don't miss over anything. Hayward, yeah, Gordon Hayward is balling out for sure right now. Did I want that for that contract? No. Would I have been interested in obtaining him? Not for that contract, but in a trade, I could have certainly been talked into. All right, Kent, message me either on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram at Dallas Prospect or the Dallas Prospect, and send me just the shirt size and where to send it, and I'll get it over to you. You've been here and a good supporter for a long time, so I probably owed you one already anyway. Everywhere Kyrie goes becomes toxic. He's definitely one of those odd cats, and that's not a bad thing necessarily. Like sometimes it's good to have a little degree of crazy deal. Like we think back to Deshaun Stevenson with the championship team, and I think people forget kind of how out there and odd Stevenson was. And he played like one more year in Atlanta after he left Dallas post-championship team, but he had a very odd career. Not quite a Lance Stevenson career, but an odd one all the same. So, I don't know. Kyrie's got a little bit of that flavor to him as well. Harden wants to will be reunited with his good buddy Dwight Howard. That is a true story. Let's see. Love Willie Cauley-Stein on this team, especially in the starting lineup, toughness and hustle. Yeah, I think he's been a good addition to the starting lineup. I think it makes sense, and I think Powell coming off the bench makes more sense for him as well, even though his minutes are still about the same. Just matching up with who he's matching up with, coming against bench players, works better for him. Willie Cauley-Stein could still do a lot better. I still feel like there's a lot of meat he's leaving on that bone. I think he's making some bonehead plays where he's just not finishing simple like alley-oop dunks, or he gets a perfect dump-off pass slashing to the basket from Luka, and he throws it off the front iron. And you're like, you're 7 feet tall. What are you doing? Like, it happens, man. It happens. Oh, yeah, Costa was who was talking about the... I found where I was earlier in the thread. There we go. Yes. Appreciate that. Most of the time, I will conduct myself more journalistically in an ethical manner. But given the circumstances of my birthday today, I'm just kind of kicking back and trying to have as good a time as I can. And that's why I wanted to jump on here and talk with you guys. So here we are. Let's see. KP is a top 10 player if healthy. Certainly with how he was playing in the bubble, you could make the argument for being around that top 10 for sure. Top 15 for sure. In San Antonio, but love Luka and KP. Appreciate that, Watson64. Irving isn't playing due to personal reasons. Yeah, and I think it's related to his mental health. Let's see. Will Dwight Powell win the MVP this year? I think he's got a dark horse chance. I think so. He'll get one vote from, I was going to say his own mother, but that doesn't make sense. It's not like the public votes on that. So I don't know. I don't know who will do that. It'll be one of those things where he puts on a fake mustache and disguises himself as a member of the media. White Dalrymple. I promise I can be more clever on the fly when I'm more sober. Let's see. Oh, hey, someone actually tagged prospects in there, so I see it. It's glowing orange for me. Kent, you don't got to pay for a shirt. I'm offering you a shirt. If you want to buy a shirt, I'm not going to tell you no, but you don't have to buy it. That's the whole point of a giveaway, brah. By the way, speaking of giveaways. Okay, I moved a bunch of the stuff for the giveaway. But Retro Dirk bobblehead. Like, this is like pre-rebrand Dirk bobblehead. I got that and a bunch of other stuff for like a Mavs package as well, with like some commemorative stuff from his 30K point milestone and things of that nature. So, hey, maybe we hold a contest soon if you guys want it. Want this stuff, it'd be like all a collective package. Can you imagine if the Mavs step in and trade for Kyrie as our third star? That would ruin our team. You are correct. Also, a very ball-dominant player that would take the ball out of Luka's hands. You're too good to us, and thank you. You're welcome. Rodman's another case of the personality for sure. I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he's, guy's got a little bit of that to him. I just think there's a mental health aspect. When do the rest of the players return to play? Well, depending on when their final, depending on when they tested positive, it's like a 10-day thing. After 10 days, you're not supposed to be infectious anymore. And so you can test after 10 days and return. Although you might still have it. James Harden, here you go. James Harden traded to the Nets. There you go. Breaking news, James Harden traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Alrighty. Speaking of toxic superstars, to the Nets. So, wow. What did they send? Does that mean you have the Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden trio? Man, oh man. Ridiculous. Massive package of first-round draft picks and swaps. I don't hear any mention of major players, so yeah. Wow. Houston, goodbye. You're going to go in the tank. You will not make the playoffs. I already kind of felt that way coming into the season, but for sure now. Oh, Eastside Herald. Where are you, Eastside? I have not really seen you much since like the first maybe 2 games of the year. Oh, tears are delicious. Actually, this is delicious. I don't know why it's trying to do that. Did we? Yo, salute to the super chat. What is up, Martins? Appreciate you with the 5. What's that metric? £5 donation. Am I using the right currency? I don't know that symbol off the top of my head, so appreciate you all the same. Greatly appreciated, sir. What do you expect from Porzingis? See, I said if you tagged me, I would see it and I would read it. What do you expect from Porzingis' first couple of games? Do you think Porzingis will be at his best already? Greetings from Slovenia. To answer your question, I think he's going to be rusty the first month. Yeah. It's not to say that he'll be as rusty and out of it as he was, not out of it, but like as up and down, largely ineffective offensively. He was always great defensively last year and rebounding really too. But it doesn't mean he'll be as kind of off as he was at the start of last season offensively until really January. He was all kinds of up and down. But I think the first month of the season, it's going to take a little bit of time to, if we're talking about like the milestone of like back at his best, when you say, if you're talking about like, oh, yo, he's got to be at bubble standard KP. Well, that was 30.5 points and like 9.5 boards and like 2.1 blocks or some crazy shit. Like KP was absolutely rolling. If we don't lose KP to the torn meniscus in the first round, we beat the Clippers in 6. And I think we beat the Nuggets. I don't think we beat the Lakers, but I think we beat the Nuggets. I think we, with Luka, KP, superpower combo, yeah, I think that team had a lot further it could go. Luka, especially with how he broke out, balled out by the end, even though he was taking a beating from the Clippers, you could just tell, man, he was figuring it out. He was taking all the punishment. He was relentless. He was nigh unstoppable going to the basket. Put Kyrie on him, doesn't matter. Put Marcus Smart on him, unless he concusses him with that blatant elbow to the head 3 or 4 times on the same drive, you're not going to knock him out. Like, that's just how it worked. So, KP at that standard, yeah, that's going to take time. I don't think he's going to be there just yet. But if he can get there, then this team's dangerous. How fast he'll get there as far as his first couple games, that's going to take some time, for sure. Happy birthday, bro. Appreciate you, bro. Mavs 121, Hornets 117. That's a pretty fair prediction. Pretty fair prediction. I do think Dallas gets him back, although that could just be that I don't think Luka gets punked again by them like he kind of did last time. And I don't know. We'll see what KP does. I don't know. You guys might have actually been talking about the Harden trade before I was. I don't know. I'm a little higher up in the scroll chat, so I'm seeing it. And so as I'm like, breaking news, everybody. I don't know if you've heard. Whereas you guys might have already been talking about it for 2 to 3 minutes, but I just saw the thing come across my phone, dropped everything, and immediately threw that out there. Oladipo's been looking good lately, starting to feel better about his potential if we acquire him next season. Oladipo's an interesting one. I want to see what his efficiency turns back to. He wasn't a super efficient player before he got to Indiana. He was a nice player, but he wasn't like a super efficient player. And then obviously his first 2 years in Indiana, great. But then he had the injury, and then it was a slow return from the injury. And then you're hearing kind of how he's separating himself from teammates and kind of emotionally distant from teammates and how he wants to play in a big market. Hey, look, like the 3rd biggest market in the NBA. Woo! Hasn't helped us yet, but maybe it will now. I don't know. He's an interesting one for sure, an interesting contender. And I think he's a more practical contract to bring on than, even if he wants a big payday, it's not going to be the same kind of payday for like a Beal, although I got to look at Beal's current status for his contract. So I think it's a lower risk Beal in that regard, although it's like low risk, high reward if you do it right. Lots of blown tops. Mavs will still whoop that ass with or without Harden. That they will. Appreciate all the birthday wishes rolling in, guys. Appreciate you all. Dallas prospect bomb. I'll be able to actually drop those later once I'm actually entrenched in all this know. As it relates to the Mavericks, at least, I'll have an in on that. Where is Eastside Herald? Somebody tag at Eastside Herald, just so if he does look back at this, he'll see and understand. We're talking shit about you, bro. All kinds of shit, bruh. He deserves it. He's been on it for like trolling the hell out of this channel, every video, every stream for like a year plus. Heard pretty accurate opinion of KP. Better to play first game in a while against PJ Washington and Biombo than Williamson and Adams. Yeah, I mean that's true. That is true, and I talked about that in Monday before the game postponed. That hey, if he does play, this isn't the ideal physical matchup for him to deal with on either front. But if they say he's good to play and he'll play, then all right. So yes, physicality wise, this is a better matchup for sure. In the fetal position, nice. I think the Mavs may have reached herd immunity. Will be good for the rest of the season. Well, I mean, we'll see, man. There's obviously guys on the team that don't have it. So, Eastside salty about his team being bad now. Yeah. Karis LeVert, Jarrett Allen are being moved. Man, that is. I mean, I know it's a lot of draft picks, but if you're the Nets, hell yes, you do that. And I mean that. I mean, Harden's disgruntled as hell. Houston's at this point like just looking to rebuild. They acknowledge without Harden they're not going to do anything. So a package built around your massive swap of picks and first rounders and all of that, especially if you think you're going to be good for a few years now, and those aren't even going to be high value picks anyway. Yeah, you do it. Let me see here. I'm going to hold that thought. I'm going to throw this to a super quick break. Like, few minutes, and I'll be back on here. Enjoy, I don't know, one of the intros.
This is the Dallas Prospect Live with DDP. Every legend was once a prospect. The Dallas Prospect is funded by viewers like you through Patreon and PayPal. To support the show, visit patreon.com/the Dallas Prospect or become a member by clicking the join button. Now let the show begin. This is the Dallas Prospect Live with DDP. Every legend was once a prospect. The Dallas Prospect is funded by viewers like you through Patreon and PayPal. To support the show, visit patreon.com/the Dallas Prospect or become a member by clicking the join button. Now let the show begin. This is the Dallas Prospect Live with DDP. Every legend was once a prospect. The Dallas Prospect is funded by viewers like you through Patreon and PayPal. To support the show, visit patreon.com/the Dallas Prospect or become a member by clicking the join button. Now let the show begin. This is the Dallas Prospect Live with DDP. Every legend was once a prospect. The Dallas Prospect is funded by viewers like you through Patreon and PayPal. To support the show, visit patreon.com/the Dallas Prospect or become a member by clicking the join button. Now let the show begin. This is the Dallas Prospect Live.
All right, welcome back now. Appreciate you now. Let me jump back into this. Happy birthday. Appreciate it. LeVert is underrated, but that's still a steal. €5 equals $6. Hey, appreciate it, bro. That's sweet. You guys kicked me $1 on here. I'm ecstatic. Honestly, it's any support or anything like that, like your belief in that and what I'm trying to do here, it really is uplifting. And all the well wishes, birthday wishes, all that, it means a lot. I really do appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I think you have a Slovenian crowd, which is awesome in itself. Your channel's growing. Be patient. I try to be patient. Patience has never been my particular virtue. But, work towards it. Yo! It happened again. Another 5 pounds. What is up? E = 0. I should have guessed that. A damn fool I am. A damn fool. Yes, guys, leave a like. Obviously, you're talking in the chat, so saying drop a comment is a little redundant. But, yeah, greatly appreciated. How do we have cap space for an Oladipo trade? You have to move some stuff around. I mean, right now, you got to send out more, obviously, than you're bringing back in. And if you're signing him to a new deal, then you can finagle that where the amount he's owed the rest of the season will still fit in under your cap and work towards the planning of the new year stuff. Found Harold, he dropped 1 dislike. There's always that one guy, and I've thought for a long time it's Eastside, who every video I do, I could do a video on here talking about, like, I'm going on vacation, which if he really hates me, that should be the one video he's liking, right? Like, oh, good, you'll be gone. You're going to be out of here for a while. And the way he creeps on the channel means he has to be a subscriber. Like, I don't understand, man. I've never understood the culture of trolling. It's such a weird thing to me for him to let me live rent-free in his head like that is interesting. But, it is what it is. Sham says there may be more teams involved in the Harden trade. Interesting. Let's see. Trolling my Cowboys family, too. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard he trolls on that, and I've seen him troll on Big Game James in silver and blue as well. Yo, hello from Slovenia. What is up? Appreciate you. Oladipo's going to the Rockets? Is that a prediction, or is that like someone that was involved in the trade? I'm just curious. I am just curious. Let's see. Yes, Brandon, we did talk about the Harden trade. We announced it as it was breaking. And it makes sense. If you're the Nets, yeah, makes total sense. Big homie from the D. Been hating since the beginning. Yeah, he's been around for a while. 20 players got traded in Harden trade. Possibly. Be the largest trade in NBA history if that was the case. Are the Nets title favorites? I don't know. What's the status of Kyrie? Happy birthday. What do you wish for yourself? May I be happy. May I be strong. And as a very painfully insecure person, may I feel that I belong. You guys do a pretty good job of making me feel like I belong on here, so greatly appreciated. But if I got those 3 things, then I got everything I need, honestly. Although a new camera would... I'm kidding. I got everything I need. Let's see. All right, cool. I caught up at the bottom of the chat finally. Let's take a look here. Now, these are words strung together in a coherent sentence leaving my mouth. We talked earlier a little bit about Cuban talking about, yeah, he hears the talk about KP and him not being healthy, and is that a risk, is blah, blah, blah. Oh, here's the full trade details here of the Harden thing. So the Rockets are getting Victor Oladipo, Dante Exum, Rodions Kurek. I butchered the shit out of that name. Someone feel free to scold me in the comments. I deserve it. 3 Brooklyn first rounders, which are picks 22, 24, 26. 1 Milwaukee first, which is number 22, unprotected. 4 Brooklyn first round swaps, which are picks 21, 23, 25, 27. That's a lot for the Rockets to get back. The Nets got James Harden. The Pacers got Chris LeVert. and a second rounder. And the Cavs, so there were 4 teams, got Jarrett Allen and Taurean Prince. Woo! That is a sizable deal. But, it makes sense. It makes sense. The Nets, if they're all ever playing together and healthy, yeah, that makes them the team to beat in the East, probably. Toronto has dropped off fairly hard this year. I know Milwaukee still looks very good, but I don't know. I think star power-wise, Brooklyn's got a... Man, if you're Oklahoma City, and I was about to say, aren't you sick to your stomach? But you're probably not, because you are looking at it and saying, bro, they got like 17 first-round picks the next like 4 years. Like, they are the draft at this point. It's the first round. Oklahoma City, just line up with your next 10 players you want, because you're the next 10 picks anyway, basically. And then we'll actually start really broadcasting the draft in the second round when we don't know who's going to go or whatever's going to happen. But, we talk about that, how they were supposed to be the Warriors dynasty. They drafted 3 straight MVPs. They had Serge Ibaka, which is a quality player as well. The core 4 was supposed to be a dynasty in the making. Got to the finals once with all of them 23, except for Harden, who I think was 22, I want to say. And they won the first game 1 of the finals against the Heat and LeBron, and then lost the next 4. And it was like, oh, don't worry, we'll be back here. And Harden's gone that summer because he wouldn't sign a deal that was less than max dollar. And then since then, it all fell apart. Then KD left. And you're in a situation now where it's like, hey, Harden and Westbrook team back up in Houston. It didn't work, but they reunited because even they looked at it and said, yo, we haven't won anything separate. Should we try that again when, we were supposed to be a dynasty? They teamed up, didn't go anywhere. And now KD and Harden have teamed back up. Like, what a weird world. Oklahoma City's got to be looking at this thinking either, I guess with all their draft picks and all that, they're probably not hurting too bad, other than just the thought that they should and could have won one or more titles. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's a weird bit where you got to be looking at that kind of thinking how odd it is seeing these guys team up. Like, well, we were supposed to win one with you, pointing at the Thunder franchise. Like, we should have won one with you, but you kind of got in your own way on that front, although Harden certainly contributed. But I digress. Let's get back onto the topic here. Is there anything else in my notes I wanted to call out? So, yeah, Cuban on the hard line talking about basically, I hear the talk about KP and him being injury prone. Do I think that should be reason for considering moving on from him at any point? He says, I thought the same thing about Steve Nash, and look how that worked out for me. True. Let Nash go at 30 because he had a bad back. And he said, he can't even sit on the bench anymore. He lays on the floor when he's not in the game. He's 30. He statistically dropped off a bit last year. Maybe we've already gotten the best out of him. Maybe I only want to pay him like 4 for 20 instead of, 4 for 63 or whatever it was. So he went to Phoenix, lived out the best years of his career with back-to-back MVPs immediately, bounced Dallas in the playoffs, and now the NBA world as a whole recognizes him as a Phoenix Sun instead of a Dallas Maverick. Travesty. So I get it. I get what he's saying. It's not apples to apples, obviously, but I get what he's saying. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think Porzingis is here to stay for a good while. Speaking of which, on the Porzingis debut tonight, presumably, he's a go. He's listed as probable, but he should be playing. Cuban said, I don't know if he's going to be on a minutes restriction, but he's penciled in to start. So, very interesting note as well there. Brad Townsend giving some extra context to the 5 Mavericks who are out for health and protocol reasons. Their ranks on the team, in terms of scoring, it's your 3rd, 4th, 6th, 7th, and 9th scorer. Your 2nd, 3rd, 6th, 8th, and 10th rebounder. And in minutes, it's your 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th player. So, yeah. It's a lot to lose. A lot of depth and experience to lose out on. You're going to have to run the young guns out there, and you're going to have to hope that Luka and maybe KP is balling out and doing their thing. And again, those 5 out are Brunson, Kleba, Dorian Finney-Smith, Dwight Powell, and Josh Richardson. So, let's see here. Probably got a little bit of time left in here. If you guys got questions, hit me up with questions. Could be Mavericks, could be NBA, could be general sports. Somebody asked a good Cowboys question earlier that I enjoyed. Whatever. Hit me up with some questions, and I will answer. Hit me up with personal questions. I don't care. Well, I mean, there's a line. Like, I'm not just gonna, it's not an AMA. Like, I'm gonna use selective choosing, which any choosing is kind of selective. So, I don't know. Yeah, I was never in favor of letting Nash go all those years ago. No one was upset when he was let go. I was devastated. Nash was my second favorite Maverick back then. What the hell is up with Dennis Smith Jr.? The Knicks. I mean, yeah, the Knicks. That's about it. His development stunted when Luka got here, and that's not on Luka. It's partly on Dennis. And then Dallas shipped him because he wasn't really willing to shift into that secondary guy role. And then after that, he ended up in New York, and we know what the Knicks do. It's the place where careers largely go to die. Or if in the case of Kristaps Porzingis, the place where until they leave, they're not really born. So, that's just kind of what it is. Logjam, not experienced. The fan base turned on him immediately. He got in his own head. He's trying to rebuild himself, and I think if he could just go somewhere with a good developmental coach, and when I say developmental, I mean good in player development, not like the coach is also a work in progress developing, that would be different. If he was in like Oklahoma City, their new coach, very, very good at player development. I think that would be... I'm not saying the Thunder in general would be an excellent place for him. It could be. But that kind of coach would be excellent for him. Is it DDP or TDP? It's DDP, but it doesn't... I mean, like Dallas Prospects in the title, I know like, oh, the Dallas Prospect, TDP. That all stemmed, and I've told this story a few times before, but it's a quick rehash. I was doing a lot of streams back year or so ago, weekly streams with Law Nation, Big Game James, and back then Silver and Blue had a producer G. Very good work, awesome person to work with. But doing a show with them was always a little weird at the beginning because they all had nicknames, so it's, yo, what you think of that, Law Nation? Like, yeah, and Law, cool as a cucumber like he is, lays it down. And then like, oh, what you got, Big Game? James would then talk about his bit. And then, even when they throw it to the producer for introducing a topic or reading a comment or a question or something to us, you throw it to producer G. And then over here like, oh, yeah, that's dope. What do you think, Derek? Like, I just felt left out, and I felt so just nerdy, I guess, in that case. So I was like, all right, I need a nickname. And because earlier in the day, before that show, we had been talking about 90s wrestling, which I grew up on. WCW was the first thing I watched, Sting in particular, but then became a huge WWF fan, now WWE. Really, as far as like my hardcore wrestling days, like watching, that was like probably 97 to 2005. And then I dropped out, and now it's been at best intermittent. But my favorite wrestler initially was Sting, but my favorite wrestler was DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. And because we've been having a conversation about 90s wrestling and WCW, I had mentioned my favorite wrestler was Diamond Dallas Page. And I think it was Law made the comment of, oh, yo, so that's like practically your name, like Diamond Dallas Prospect. And I was like, all right, well, don't call me Diamond for short, but DDP. I like that. That's like paying homage to my favorite wrestler growing up. And that's really stinking cool. I dig that. Diamond Dallas Prospect. Don't call me that. Just call me DDP. I like it. And I thought for a long time, that I would not be allowed to use that nickname if the real Diamond Dallas page ever actually found out about found out that I was using the name. He'd be like, here's a cease and desist from my lawyers. But as it turns out, he eventually did find out about me and was surprisingly cool about it. Surprisingly cool about it. In fact, it's on the channel in this form.
You love me! You hate me! You'll never forget me! Get ready to feel the... Yo, monkeys, it's me, DDP. That's right, Diamond Dallas Page, the king, the bada bing, the master of the diamond cutter, the three-time world champion. Now, I know you monkeys know that I didn't pull this 10 pounds of gold. I didn't pull the heavyweight world championship out of a box of Cracker Jacks. Brother. I had to earn it, just like I earned my WWE Hall of Fame ring and turning DDPY into a household name. That's right, baby. You're listening to Diamond Dallas Page right now. Tell you that when you want to hear the best in sports and wrestling, you need to tune into the Dallas Prospect. That's right, one of the greatest wrestling and sports shows on the planet. And you're listening to my little buddy, Little DDP. So, stay tuned and hear what he has to say, or else you, monkey, will feel the death. And I ain't effing around here. Kill it, Derek. Show him what you got, baby.
Yeah, so that's the thing that happened. So as you can imagine, for me, that was pretty top level having one of my childhood heroes recognize me and give me props for that. Again, I don't know why he thought I was such a wrestling YouTuber. I'm not. But still, great respect to DDP for that. So yes, to answer your question in about as long-winded a way as possible, it's DDP, although I don't use it a ton anymore. A lot of times I'll just go by Derek Kirby, and I use them interchangeably, but I figure if I'm trying to build a career as a sports journalist, lean on Derek Kirby, and then if I'm jumping on here, kicking back, not really doing the super professional thing anyway, kind of like this stream, then I can go by DDP. It's not a problem. Let's see. Do I watch UFC? I have, but I've not watched a ton of it. I've seen it, obviously. I mean, who hasn't? I don't know. It seems like the 2 or 3 times I watched matches in their entirety, I was watching like a leg or an arm snap, and I get squeamish with that. So I'm like, if you get like a great slugging boxing match, I can watch that. Problem is, you don't get a lot of those these days. It's all, little body shot, dance away. Little body shot, dance away. Or if it's Floyd Mayweather, it's just little pat, dance. Pat, dance. It's like, if you get 2 heavyweights in there just slugging it out, that's the top bill for me. Either Derek or DDP is fine. But I will correct you if you're going to say Derek, you got to spell my name right. So my name is unusually spelled. He must be a Mavs fan if he found you. I was about to say, he's from New Jersey. So he's, if anything, even though ironically Dallas is in his name, he shouldn't be a Cowboys fan. He should be a Giants fan or even an Eagles fan. I don't know what his professional football or team alliance is, or allegiance, I should say. But Mavericks, I'm quite certain, are not. I think I had been trying to get interviews with him for a while. Dang it. Hold on. I gotta go on a quick break real quick. One more time.
This is the Dallas Prospect Live with DDP. Every legend was once a prospect. The Dallas Prospect is funded by viewers like you through Patreon and PayPal. To support the show, visit patreon.com/the Dallas Prospect or become a member by clicking the Join button. Now let the show begin. This is the Dallas Prospect Live with DDP. Every legend was once a prospect. The Dallas Prospect is funded by viewers like you through Patreon and PayPal. To support the show, visit patreon.com/the Dallas Prospect or become a member by clicking the Join button. Now let the show begin. This is the Dallas Prospect Live with DDP. Every legend was once a prospect. The Dallas Prospect is funded by viewers like you through Patreon and PayPal. To support the show, visit patreon.com/the Dallas Prospect or become a member by clicking the Join button. Now let the show begin. This is the Dallas Prospect Live with DDP. Every legend was once a prospect. The Dallas Prospect is funded by viewers like you through Patreon and PayPal. To support the show, visit patreon.com/the Dallas Prospect or become a member by clicking the Join button. Now let the show begin. This is the Dallas Prospect Live with...
Okay, so that's the last interruption for what's left of this stream. Been going a little over an hour now. Again, this is the Dallas Prospect, yes. Did I miss something? Did my animation say I was something else? I don't know. What's good, Swisher Sweet? As I said earlier, I'm going to do a Mavs package giveaway thing, including this retro Dirk bobblehead from the pre-current branding days. So this is probably like 2000 when that one came out. If you guys are interested, let me know. Let's see. Mike Tyson or GSP would be my DDP. That's awesome he made that. Oh, yeah, no, it's legit. I was stoked when DDP made that for me. As I was saying earlier, I tried for probably 2 years to get him on the show for an interview, and I still would like to do it one day. And so they were aware of who I was, him and his manager. But I couldn't get him on, and I even leaned into it, man. I was like, "Yo, I'll literally I think so highly of him and the work he's doing. I'm like, I'll literally fly to your studio in Georgia. Again, this was pre-pandemic. I'll do an interview with you in your studio." He does like DDPY yoga at this point, and I was like, I'll go through an entire one of your yoga workout routines, whatever, while interviewing you. I don't even care what you put me through. I'll do the interview. I'll come to you. All you got to do is give me like 30 minutes of your time and we'll make it work. And I couldn't get that secured either. But they knew who I was, and because I stayed persistent, he was like, well, let's not rule out doing that eventually, but my schedule's packed. Tell you what, I'll give you this shout out. And I was like, all right, yeah, I can use that. I mean, what am I going to say? I'm getting a no anyway. I might as well get the shout out video for it. It rolled 5 times while I was gone. Got it. Yeah, I'm working on some stuff for my little breaks. Don't worry about it. But for now, I just got to throw out that one thing that is there. That, or I could throw this one out, and I'm not going to make you watch it in its entirety, but the theme intro, which is still muted. Americans usually watch American boxing. Plenty of talent in Europe and Asia as well. I'm sure there is. I don't watch a lot of boxing anyway, was the point I was making. I can be invested in a good boxing match. Doesn't matter where the guys are from. But yeah, it just depends. UFC is not really my thing so much. Not saying that there's never an example of a UFC fight that can captivate me, because there is. It's just not my typical thing, my go-to. think a lot of people say boxing is dead nowadays because they watch American fighters. That is a popular belief here as it relates to in the U.S. Of course, that's also because there was a lot of corruption and mob interference and stuff like that. So the purity of it was gone, and any legitimacy was questioned, and you can't really survive that. I live in Australia in a country town, and no shot the other day, a lady had a DDP shirt on with a buy sell swap page in my community. Nice, very nice. Probably didn't know this yet, but every time I hear DDP, I think double double because of basketball, penetration because I watched too much porn in the past. All right. Wow, so if you're going double double, you're going with a quadruple decker then, huh? That's a way to not sit for a while. But yeah, hopefully that's a weird thing to come to your mind as you're hearing me talk about it. Here I am, DDP, and you're like, oh God, I don't need that mental image. Let's see, another Latvian joining Southwest Division. Yes, good call out there. Sometimes we have a very short attention span. I know the real boxers. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so I think that's going to have to wrap it up for my time. Thank you guys again for all of the support to the Super Chat donations today. Thank you so much, Martins. I think it was you both times. Was there someone else? I'm going to scroll up because I want to give proper recognition. It was Ex Libris and Martin Z. Yeah. I'm not good at pronouncing some of those unless I've heard them a few times. Sorry. But thank you for the Super Chat donations. Don't forget to like this video. Drop a comment. You're already doing it in the chat, so it's redundant for me to say that, but it's part of my routine. Subscribe to the Dallas Prospect. Share the videos. Maybe not this one where I'm making an ass out of myself half the time. But, share the work. If you know other Maverick fans, other Dallas sports fans, we are going to open it up in time and talk a little more Cowboys, talk a little bit of college football. If I'm doing Dallas Prospect Live 3 to 5 times a week and 3 to 5 segments a show, you're going to get a lot of sports and not just Mavericks every time. Like, I'll still be predominantly Mavericks. Don't get it twisted. But there's going to be other conversations as well being had. And I might even sprinkle in some of the pop culture stuff I want to do. Like my base level film review stuff. I might do some of that. I'll mix it up. I'll change it up. But the segments from that one would, instead of clipping to Dallas Prospect, would clip to my sub-channel Cheap Pop. But I digress. Like the video, subscribe, comment, share. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/TheDallasProspect. Become a member on YouTube. Or you can always buy the shirt, rep the merch on represent.com/store/Dallas Prospect. That one, I didn't roll that one off the tongue quite as well. But, we'll make it do. Until next time, remember, every legend was once a prospect. Peace! Be honest, how many of you are going to unsubscribe just because I was that obnoxious? It's all right. No offense.